Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Emily and today I have for you a short video for yoga for anxiety. So maybe we're feeling a bit anxious today or a bit wired, that inner voice is quite chatty and overbearing today. So here's a little sequence for you to help slow down that chatty mind and release some anxiety from our mind and our body. So when you're ready, come to sit comfortably on your mat and we'll begin with a short little meditation just to bring ourselves into the present moment. So sitting with the legs crossed, the spine is nice and tall. We can roll the shoulders down the back and gently tuck the chin in, resting the hands on the knees or together in the lap and closing the eyes. And we'll take a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. And then just simply tuning into the natural rhythm of your breath. Observing the natural rise and fall of your inhales and exhales. And taking a moment to check in with your breath here. Notice how your breath is feeling in your body today. Is it feeling a little bit tight, maybe shallow or a bit restricted? Or maybe there's some room to breathe. The breath is flowing quite nice and deeply. Just trying to be aware of how your breath is feeling in your body. And keeping that in mind, noticing where your breath in your body is coming from. So if the breath is a bit tight and restricted today, maybe we're feeling our breath coming from our chest. If the breath is nice and deep, maybe we're feeling our breath in our bellies. Or maybe we're somewhere else. Maybe the breath is in the rib space. Maybe we're feeling the breath in the throat. Or maybe even in the nose. Or maybe you're not quite sure how the breath is feeling at all today. And that's absolutely fine. We're just taking a moment to connect with our breath, to slow down our busy, chatty minds. Just giving ourselves a moment to be still and quiet. And then when you're ready, we can gently blink the eyes back open. And we'll begin by finding our way into a child's pose. So we can take this child's pose however we like today. We can have the knees together, arms extended or down by the sides. Knees can be out wide. We can make a pillow with the hands to rest the forehead on, or maybe even using a block to rest the forehead on. Just taking your child's pose however's nice and comfortable for you, so we can rest here for a few breaths. Each time your mind wanders and gets chatty, coming back to your breath. One more breath. On our next inhale, we can find our way up onto our tabletop position. So we're on all fours, the hands are shoulder width apart, knees are hip width. And we'll move through a few rounds of cat-cows. So on our inhale, we'll draw the belly down, lift the chest and chin up. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, rounding the spine, bringing the chin to the chest. Inhale, flowing up the spine, lifting the chest and chin. Exhaling, rounding the spine, chin to the chest, moving with the flow of your breath here. Inhale, slowly waving up the spine, lifting the chest and chin. Exhaling, rounding. 2 more times. Nice and slow, deep inhale, waving up the spine, lifting the head. Exhaling, pulling the belly in and rounding the spine, chin to the chest. 1 more. Inhale, waving up. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, coming back to our neutral tabletop. We can then walk the hands forwards one pace. We'll tuck the toes under, hips back and up to our first downward facing dog. And we can paddle out the feet, stretch out your legs, moving your body whichever way feels nice for you here. We're nice and soft in the elbows and the shoulders. Gently pull down the back, away from the ears. One more breath. On our next inhale, look between the hands. We can slowly walk the feet towards the hands. The feet are about hip width apart here, and we come into our forward fold. So we can rest the hands on those ankles. If we have some blocks, we can just place the blocks in front of the toes to rest the hands on. So we can keep and maintain a nice lengthened spine. The shoulders pull down the back. And just finding your comfortable variation of your forward fold. Making sure we don't lose that lengthening in the spine. Tucking the chin into the chest. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Exhaling, planting the palms into the mat. We can step it back to a downward facing dog for a moment. Paddle the feet to release that stretch. On our inhale, we'll shift our weight into a plank. Exhale, we can bring the knees, chest and chin to the mat or chaturanga. Lower yourself down with control. Inhale, lift the chest and chin up to our upward facing dog. Exhale, bending the knees, taking the hips back, coming to sit up on those heels. We can bring the hips round to one side and the legs round in front. And we'll just bring ourselves down to lying. So we can just casually help ourselves come down to lying on our backs. Walking the feet in so that the knees are bent and together here. As we exhale, we'll gently let the knees fall out to the sides, coming into our supine bound angle. And we can rest one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart space. We can close the eyes here, reconnect with your breath. Allowing your mind and body to let go and rest here. Each time your mind wanders, coming back to your breath. One more breath. On our next inhale, using the hands to gently guide the knees back together. We can then walk the feet out slightly so that they are hip width apart. And maybe we can just touch the heels with our fingers. We'll tuck the shoulders underneath and we'll plant the palms and feet into the mat. Gently press the lower back into the mat as well. On our next inhale, we'll roll up the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the pelvis up into our bridge pose. And nice deep breaths here. If we feel like we need some support in our bridge today, we can grab hold of our trusty little blocks and gently place the block underneath our sacrum, just to support the pelvis and hips here. We're supporting our mind and body today. A little bit of self-love, a little bit of self-care. One more breath here. On our next exhale, we can gently remove that block if we've used and roll back down the spine vertebrae by vertebrae. We can then hug both the knees back into the chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And then from here, just gently rolling over onto one side, bringing yourself back up to sit. We can bring our legs back into our cross-legged position. Bringing the hands back to rest on the knees or together in the lap. The spine is nice and tall and we're rolling those shoulders back. Chin tucks in and we can close the eyes again. Taking a deep breath in and out through your nose. Reconnecting with your breath and noticing any subtle changes you may feel in your breath after stretching it out. Maybe to begin with, our breath was quite tight and in the chest. Perhaps now the breath is now in the belly and it's flowing nice and deeply with ease. Or maybe we're still not quite sure how the breath is feeling today, and that's absolutely fine. We're just taking a moment here to relieve ourselves from our anxieties today. Just being present with your natural breath, taking a moment to be still. And then when you're ready, we can bring the hands together in prayer in front of the chest and bow the head down. And gently blinking the eyes back open and lifting the head. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that's helped relieve some of your anxiety. Just remembering to always be gentle and kind towards yourself. Not every day is easy. And sometimes we can get stuck in that toxic cycle of positivity, always wanting to be positive, but that's just not within our human nature. We all have our bad days. We all have a time in our lives where our anxiety or depression may get the better of us. So that's why just to be more understanding and patient with yourself, do whatever your mind and body needs to get yourself back on track and feeling a bit more lighter. Thanks again for joining me. Please leave a comment below if you enjoyed, like the video, save for later, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thanks again. Bye.